So what's up? What's the deal, guys? Welcome to JA News.
It's up.
So the moment we've been waiting on, the results are in as Adidas officially reports their quarterly financials. Now the YEEZY sales figures may surprise you as it looks like they weren't exactly what I expected. Plus, Adidas speaks on the future of YEEZY. They still have more pairs to sell, but could be hinting that this last major YEEZY sale in August could have been the last one. So stay tuned, guys. We got that, plus the latest and greatest in sneaker news and updates. It's coming right up next. So I appreciate y'all. Salute to everybody for tuning in. Before we get into today's big story, a couple of quick sneaker updates to get into. First and foremost, we have Nike, who has filed a lawsuit versus New Balance, as well as Skechers, claiming copyright infringement. They state that the two companies are ripping off their Flyknit technology, which was originally introduced back in 2012. The technology takes lightweight but durable strands of yarn and weaves them into a seamless upper, a process that the company claims reduces waste by 60% and lowers weight. So does Nike have any validity to these claims? Introducing Exhibit A, we got the Nike Flyknit here. Exhibit B, these are some of the designs that Nike claims New Balance ripped off from their Flyknit technology. And then we have Exhibit C, these are the designs that Nike claims Skechers ripped off from their Flyknit technology. Now it's also important to make note that Nike sued Puma back in 2018 for the same claims, in which Puma settled. They also sued Adidas in 2021. They settled and currently have an ongoing lawsuit versus Lululemon. So while Skechers failed to decline to this, New Balance says that they fully respect competitors' intellectual property rights, but Nike does not own the exclusive right to design and produce footwear by traditional manufacturing methods that have been used in the industry for decades. So they're clapping back at Nike. I definitely agree with them, but it looks like Nike is the big dog on the block. They're the bully, and they're calling out names. And speaking of New Balance, it looks like they're teaming up once again with rapper Amine. If y'all recall, previously these two teamed up for a collaboration on the New Balance 610, which was said to be inspired by bananas. So they're back with the 610, a model that New Balance has definitely been pushing a lot this year, probably more so to compete with Salomon, take up a little bit of that market share. But this is the 610S, which is actually a slip-on version, which I actually like the way these look, but when it comes to the colorways for this collaboration, I'm not so sure, but it looks like they're keeping the banana theme alive, as it says the three colorways have been crafted to represent the life cycle of a banana, from a not quite ripe green to a just right yellow, and finally an overripe brown. Now, what's even crazier is that this collaboration is limited to just 503 pairs, and that's not with different colorways, that's just 503 pairs for all colorways. And it looks like the first drop will be going down in Portland in store. So 100 pairs of the green version will be available in store. Then for New York City, coming up November 12th, you got 100 pairs of the yellow joints in store. And then the remaining 303 pairs of the brown ones will be dropping online coming up November 15th. So this is super limited. This is crazy. Even if you wanted to try out these sneakers, I feel like it would be almost impossible to cop online. So with a release this limited, I'm trying to just figure out, like, what's the point? All right, and with those quick updates out the way, it's time to get into today's main story. So this is the moment we've all been waiting on. The results are finally in, as Adidas has officially reported their quarterly financials. Now, we all know how this whole Adidas YEEZY saga has played out, but currently Adidas has put the remaining 2023 YEEZY releases on pause. So there are many questions surrounding the future of YEEZY releases. Also, we saw for this first major YEEZY sale, Adidas reported over $430 million worth of YEEZY sales. And with this more recent drop, adding even more styles, I'm expecting the sales figures to even exceed what we got for the first drop. So let's go ahead and check out the numbers. So the second product drop generated revenues of around 350 million euros in Q3, which is somewhat below the YEEZY sales generated in the prior year's quarter. So what they're trying to say here is when you compare the sales results from the third quarter this year compared to what they were for the same time period last year, so we're talking the third quarter of 2022, the numbers are slightly down, which I feel like is not a big deal due to the fact that we're not even sure how many different Yeezys they dropped for the third quarter last year, and this year there's really no strategic rollout. They're kind of just stealth dropping these pairs. So with the numbers being slightly low compared to last year, that's not a huge deal. But when you take a look at the sales figures of 350 million euros, 350 million euros worth of Yeezy sold in the third quarter. That comes out to be right around like $375 million. It's a slight dip compared to the results that we had for the second quarter Yeezy drop, which was around like 460 million. So a little bit of a dip off. So could it be that the hype for Yeezy is starting to die down? Remember, for this last Yeezy drop in August, we saw several different Yeezys sitting on the Confirmed app, as well as many third-party retailer sites. So could the hype actually be dying down, or could it be that a lot of people have fatigue from the first Yeezy drop? Remember, you guys went crazy dropping a bag. Could it be that a lot of people were tapped out on funds and kind of held out for this last major Yeezy drop, maybe in anticipation of the next Yeezy drop? And then you got certain styles which, let's just say, aren't as hype as they used to be. Take, for example, the Yeezy 350, a sneaker that still moves units, but it's just not like how the demand was back in the day, which leads to less resellers trying to grab these, which I feel like really exposes the sneaker market and a lot of these brands for what they really are. A lot of these companies rely on resellers to buy up much of their inventory. So I would say it's a combination of a lot of people are fatigued from buying so many pairs this year. Some of these styles are less popular and you have less resellers buying up the inventory. But don't get it twisted, the demand for Yeezy is still there. There's still so many people waiting to get their hands on that remaining inventory, which we learned recently Adidas has put on pause for the remainder of 2023. So we know they still have more Yeezys to drop, but in terms of the future releases, that's still up for question. But it looks like their current CEO, Boyne Gilden, has made a response in regards to future Yeezy drops. So he said the assumption in the outlook is that this inventory will be written off. If that will happen or not is something that we evaluate all the time. So there are no decisions on what we'll do, Gilden told reporters on a conference call. So it looks like Adidas is claiming that they're not sure if they're going to drop these future Yeezy releases. It looks like they're still waiting to make a decision. And one of those decisions is that they could just write off this remaining inventory. Now, we all know that's controversial because if they write off the remaining inventory, Adidas will either have to destroy, which means burning up all those pairs, or they will have to donate the remaining pairs. So I feel like an outlook of them writing off the remaining inventory, while it sounds good and it's probably the right thing for him to say, I highly doubt that will happen. Now, on the same call, he also added that we, of course, hope we can do more drops next year and we can get more value out of it and donate the proceeds. But right now, financially, we haven't made a decision, and that's why the outlook is what it is. Now, I like this guy, Mr. Gilden. He seems to be a really cool dude, but I'm calling cap on this statement right here. He's just doing what he's supposed to do. Remember, just last month, this same guy was praising Ye until he got the call, and then he had to shut up real quick. So if you ask me why they put a pause on these remaining 2023 Yeezy drops, I feel like coming back next year, it would be a great way to kick off 24 with a Q1 Yeezy drop. So it's really interesting. The ball is in Adidas court, and when you look at how this whole situation played out, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Of course, Adidas and Ye, they've known to have this like tumultuous history that's being exposed. So Ye, he got out the deal, and they're still doing business with him, dropping more pairs, and he's still receiving his royalty while being hands-free out of the contract and free to, create new Yeezys coming up here in the future. So we'll see how this whole situation plays out. What do you guys think about these numbers, and what do you guys think about the future of Yeezy releases? Do you feel like Adidas will just go ahead and write off the remaining inventory, destroy the remaining pairs, or do you foresee a big Yeezy sale coming to kick off 2024? And let's not even get into this whole like secret Yeezy sale going down in China, which I feel like I'll save for a future video. So drop your thoughts on everything covered today. Salute, guys. I'm gonna wrap things up. We'll catch y'all tomorrow. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch y'all next time for the latest edition of JA News. Love.